So someone asked about horror fusionis. It's kind of a horrible name, but it does tell you what it is. The horror is the bad part, like a horror movie, and fusionis means you can't fuse. So it's the horribleness of not being able to fuse the image. And so you might be asking yourself, why wouldn't someone able to fuse the image? So as you know, the two eyes have to see the same target and put them on top of each other to make a three-dimensional image. That is what we call fusion. And so sometimes your fusion cannot occur, number one, if the two images are disparate. So you can't fuse a square and a triangle, for example. They have to be both squares in order for you to fuse it. However, sometimes the image is larger, macropsia, and what other image is smaller, and so that's going to be hard to fuse. That's anisoconia. That's a barrier to fusion. Another barrier to fusion might be if you're tilted, and that's torsion. So if one image is like this and the other image is torted like this, you're going to have a hard time fusing those two images because they're not the same. And then, of course, there are things that cause the fovea to be displaced. So if you've got the fundus here in both eyes and you've got the fovea here, but you have an epiretinal membrane or something that's pulled the fovea off to the side, then the two parts of the retina are no longer going to be corresponding. And so those two corresponding elements are not going to fuse because the epiretinal membrane pulled the fovea away from the target. So even though the periphery might be aligned, the center won't be. And so these are different mechanisms where your fusion can break down. Rarely it's a central cause. You can't fuse it because you had a head trauma or something like that. Normally people have fusional amplitudes. They're bigger horizontally than vertically, and that allows people to fuse the image by just making the two eyes align. And that fusional ability decreases as you get older, but most people have pretty good fusional ability for horizontal because they have to converge and diverge. For vertical, it's smaller, like 2 to 4 prism diopters. That's all you can do. Some people, even if you put the prism on and align their eyes, they can't maintain it. And that is called horror fusionis, the horribleness of inability to fuse regardless of what the mechanism is.